You're listening to Metal and High Heels, the official podcast from the magazine about metal, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Metal and High Heels podcast. My name is Pia. I am here today with...
Hi, I'm Kiki.
And we have special guests today. We're here with Sophia and Sam from the band Season of Ghosts. Hello.
Hello, girls. It's so great to be here.
Hello. Nice to be here.
It's great to be here again, we have to say, because due to some technical problems.
That would have to cover an entire episode if we said the whole story.
Yes. So let's hope the best for the second try to record this episode. And thank you so much for taking the time to record this a second time with us.
Likewise. Sorry for the train wreck.
So you've been guests before in this podcast, just before you released the Leap of Faith album.
That's true.
You came here to tell us something about that. And I think I talked a lot and Kiki didn't talk that much. So today it'll be the other way around, I think, because we have a different topic today. We will talk about live streaming for bands. And that's, since Kiki does a lot of stuff on Twitch and everything, that's obviously her topic. And I will just ask some stupid questions in between.
Your questions
the
are
best
always
questions.
nice, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So Kiki, let's jump into the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dive into the topic, I think.
This is going to be kind of a déjà vu, since we already tried to record this.
It's okay. Second time's the charm in our case.
Yes. And so how about we just start there at the beginning? How did you start streaming? How long have you been streaming, actually?
Okay, so we've been streaming for a handful of years, but it was just not that organized as a weekly kind of feature. So we were doing it like once a month or twice a month, depending, and on various different platforms. But for the past year, we've been live streaming weekly on YouTube. That's the platform of our choice. I felt that it was the best option for us at the time, considering our targets. So we chose YouTube, and in the beginning we said, okay, we will scale back at some point, somewhere in the summer. But eventually, people asked us to keep going, and they were the reason why we kept doing it again and again. Because I was like, okay, people are gonna get bored. Or we are going to get bored and we don't want to do it anymore. But eventually the guys, they reshaped the entire experience, and they even gave us a title. We were naming it like live stream blah blah blah. So they told us, because we tend to fight too much while we are in front of the camera, like and pulling pranks on each other or roasting each other. The fans named it Bickering with Sam and Sophia, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a legitimate title. So that's how our live stream is called.
Be pissed. That's it.
No, you make me pissed.
Everyone knows who makes who pissed.
Let's make it take it to public vote next time.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna make a poll and roast you 100%. You're gonna regret it. Okay.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, sometimes we bicker too much, and that's not too much fun. But normally, when you keep it on a normal level, it's nice and funny, and games.
And you were just saying that you consciously chose YouTube as your live streaming outlet. Can you tell me more about what came into that decision?
So essentially, most people they are treating YouTube more like a dump of video material, whereas YouTube is a social media. And I believe the platform has made a statement by creating the community posts and the community feature. that you can actually post status updates along with pictures or small videos for your community.
Second
Exactly
biggest social media.
what?
I think it's the second biggest social media.
I'm not sure who is the biggest one right now with TikTok in the
Yeah,
game.
now
Mm, yeah. But definitely, people usually treat, and I used to treat back in the day, YouTube more like a dumping thing, like a kind of storage room for video material. But I do not believe that's the correct approach. So we try to make the channel more engaging and invite more people in, because we definitely need a development and higher numbers. So we chose YouTube because we also like the formats, the horizontal, as opposed to, for example, Instagram that offers the vertical thing, which I believe is great for fast catch ups or for an occasional additional live stream. But if it's a recurring thing, it felt better for me and more user friendly, like the back office, the dashboard that is offered to users is much better on YouTube. So yeah, for all of these reasons, we picked YouTube as opposed to something else. But as always, we like to keep ourselves informed, and we're happy to assess something else for the future.
Mm, for me, it was instead out of it was purely out of strategic reasons. It
Mm-hmm.
was
You know what I said.
yeah, it was a goal-oriented decision, and we have specific goals in mind, and then we keep assessing what we want to do every few months. And although we are very busy in our lives, we reassess and then we go ahead.
Do you want to share? May I ask about those goals exactly? Because it's really interesting to me. I just learned yesterday in the first attempt of recording this podcast that you two are digital marketers as well, and so I think that a lot of bands out there might get a lot of value out of this kind of conversation in um, realizing how important it is to actually have goals set that you can then follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it might seem, if you go and see, for example, my social media, it's, I don't post very much. It's purely because I'm super busy. But for example, Sophia, she's very good. She's keeping up. But I'm helping, in the background. For example, I'm the responsible for the campaigns and the SEO of the band. So I'm checking and controlling. Okay, now we're making a new website. So there you go.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I am the responsible for taking care of the keywords, validating the keywords, and checking what kind of campaigns we want to do, what kind of audience we want to do, the target. So we see. So let's say that we have decided on focusing on YouTube. So we upload. We decide on how many videos we want to produce in X amount of time, and we say, okay, these are our goals. We want to grow this amount of XX, let's say, followers, or funds, because this is, for us, it's gonna be funds. We were trying to bring in engaging fans, so we're gonna do live streams. We're gonna try to make them become subscribers as well, so that we have also sending e-blasts. And we're also trying, now we're making a new website, and as well, I'm taking care of campaigns. So I'm doing Google Ads and doing other things like this. It's a more deep topic, but this is what we are trying to do.
Well, it doesn't have to be that complicated, because that's a very corporate approach there.
Sorry,
I mean, for a musician that really needs to get the basics together, to put two and two together, it's
check the signal here. You don't need to distort it.
just oh, okay. Just in case
Yeah.
you hear me distorted, just tell me, and I will stop shouting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some death metal screams, please.
Yes.
That would be nice. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be so detailed, especially for a musician who is trying to put two and two together, and they are the only ones working on the band, or they might not possess the the appropriate skill. So it's mostly, like, to wrap it up for you. It's mostly about having a calendar and making a simple form of planning and sticking to it. Because if you don't stick to it, you need to be consistent. So consistency is the number one for me. Even if
Hmm.
you don't possess the skills of a marketing manager, you don't need to. You're a musician, but you need to be consistent, and you need to um, constantly be trying to find ways to improve and to automate your processes. So the end result will end up being more high quality and more engaging, and therefore it will reap more results and more people coming in.
Something very valuable is understand what you want to do. Don't try to imitate others. Be original, because this is what you are there to sell. Okay, let's. At the end of the day, you are selling something.
Hmm.
Seeing from a business point of view, you're right.
Yes.
So be original. Do all from the other side. You are doing art. So this is how you're gonna transmit your art. You're gonna come across being original. So people, this is how they are gonna buying in. So be original and do and have a vision, and this is how people are gonna come through through.
And that is what a marketing strategy is. And I think there was a lot of information, and it was very valuable information. I think we can make it a little easier to understand and a little easier to, or more structured, so that it's more understandable as well.
Mhm.
You were summarizing it very well, Sam, in the end, with all of the, in the end, of course, music is art, but the goal should be to put it out there and to reach more and more people, right? And to be able to keep making that art, it's always a good thing to drive some income from it and sell. So the goals for your marketing strategy could be things like selling more merch or more albums, or having people use or listen to your music on streaming services more and more, so you get more royalties from it.
Mhm.
But those are the goals that you have to have set for yourself in order to measure those results afterwards and see what is working, and or what strategies are working, and what other, and those that aren't as well.
Mhm.
Sam, you also mentioned search, like SEO, search engine optimization. And I think that's how we go back to YouTube, because YouTube works actually like a search engine, right? So YouTube, because they're from Google, obviously, has been refined to be very, um, to work like Google, to work like a search engine. So it's also important to have good titles for your videos, which is why Bickering with Sam and Sophia is just like perfect. It's unique. It has charisma, and also the essence of what you're doing. And what you mentioned, Sophia, as well, is super important, to have something consistent, to know that people can expect to see you every Saturday, was it?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and I guess that's how they can rely on seeing you every Saturday, and that's
Mm.
how they will come back and also recommend your show to their friends, right?
Sure. And by consistent, I mean, like, even if it's not a recurring show, which at some point can become flat and boring, like I said. So you need to know which battles to pick. You need to pick wisely. So you can still be consistent by uploading any type of material, as long as you keep renewing, the same way you're renewing your Twitter and you're posting new material on there, like every day or 3 times a week or wherever you do.
Mhm.
People are going to follow you and are going to anticipate your posts. But if, for example, I appear one time in December and then you see me again on, I don't know, February, you're going to say, yeah, that person, maybe I will not follow them anymore because they are never online. so we
Mhm.
cannot hang out together. So it's sort of a hangout, the social media. That's supposedly the essence and the core of the meaning social media. So we cannot socialize if you're not around. If you don't come to the club, we cannot drink together. We cannot, I don't know,
Yeah.
say cheers. So why the hell should I bother sending you a message to meet?
Yes.
So that's how it goes. And the same is for YouTube. So you can stay consistent in many different ways.
Yeah, and we are all in the very businessy side of things today, and I love that.
You're
It's so
also in
interesting to me.
marketing, you said.
Yes, I also work in as a content creator, actually.
Amazing.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, also from the perspective of a marketing strategist, and yeah, social media is also what I work in a lot, and this is obviously very interesting for me because I I have always wanted to support the bands that I like, which was one of the reasons why I started or why I went into music journalism as a thing.
Mhm.
We were just talking about music journalism in the last episode, and we talked about our motivations in the last bit of the episode, and it was super interesting to know that Pia shares with me that like curiosity to want to ask these kinds of
Yes.
questions. And also this is super interesting to me, right? Because it's of course getting to know you better as musicians that I like, and also from the business side of things that it's really cool to know that you have put so much thought in this into
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
There is so much more than just the music. So music is the most important thing, obviously, but when you have a band, you do so much more than just composing and playing music. And
Mhm.
that's so interesting to get to know.
Yeah, well, to be honest, there are still a bunch of musicians that refuse to admit that, but that's another long conversation for maybe another time.
Yeah, I think it's always their choice what they want to achieve. So if you want to be super famous and you say, no, I don't want to do anything else than playing music, well, that just won't work. But if you just say, I have a day job and everything, and I'm just fine with playing a concert every now and then in the bar on the other side of the road, then it's fine. Then you don't have to do all this other stuff. That's
Yeah,
good.
well, I mean, if you don't want to do this other stuff, you better have a very deep pocket,
Yeah.
like to delegate and to hire people to do those things for you, and you cannot
Yes.
even be sure that they're going to do them correctly, or they're going to work in your best interest. Or, like Pia said, you have to be prepared to just play occasionally at the pub.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And all of those are valid choices, right? Everybody has different dreams and different goals, and that's
No
um,
judgment.
exactly. I think it's just a very, it's a cool thing to do to give people more knowledge of how to achieve those goals, and that's something that we're doing today here with this episode, and that's really exciting to me.
A question that just popped up in my mind is what equipment do you need to do live streaming like you're doing now? Because you also sometimes play acoustic shows in your YouTube show. So yeah, what kind of technology do you use? What kind of
Well,
equipment?
we play two kinds of shows, to be honest. So we have acoustic shows, or like now we have. Okay, now we plug a random microphone in. Otherwise, we have a professional one. We have a normal audio card, an external audio card, and we plug it, a microphone, a professional microphone, and there you go. And we have a streaming device which we plug to the laptop, and this gives us the opportunity to stream directly and give a full HD signal.
And how about the electric one?
And then we have also the SLR connected to the streaming device.
What is an SLR?
SLR is the camera, Sophia. The Nikon is how do you call it?
A camera.
But it's just a camera.
Photography and
It's a
video.
photo
Whatever.
camera,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's a
That can
professional
also
photography
make
camera.
videos.
Yeah, you can also take videos. Yeah,
Mm.
So and then that's how we do the acoustic and the relaxed version. Otherwise, we have when we do the electric version, which we don't usually have, we don't keep it. We just do just you come, you watch the show, and then we put it as private. And then when we do the electric show,
What do you mean you come and you?
people come to see
this
the
is-
show, and then we put
Yeah,
it
okay,
private.
but this doesn't have to do with how you're plugging things in.
Anyhow, I'm just explaining the difference between the two shows. Why are you laughing at me?
That's fine.
You're inserting random information.
Okay, I'm being very detailed.
Okay.
We want all the information. That's perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, guys.
What about the wiring?
The wiring is okay. We have an audio card which is an 8-channel, and from there, then it is the same system. From the 8-channel, then we connect to a mixer and two mixers. One mixer goes to Sophia, so she can hear and receives what we get musically. So I have a Kemper for guitar, and Paolo goes into his Mac.
What is a camper?
Kemper is a profiler. They are Germans. They come from Germany.
Yeah, but not everybody knows what
Okay,
a
a Kemper
is.
profiler is it's a rig simulator for guitars. So you can customize anything you want, and it's very very comfortable if you tour, because you don't need to bring any head with you, guitar heads, and have a case, or so you just bring this thing with you, your own sound anywhere on tour, and just plug it in, and you have your perfect customized sound, and that's it. It's you.
And thanks to the second mixer, I can connect.
By the way, then we have a Mac which provides the keyboards, and this goes into the second mixer, and that's it. And that's how this enters into YouTube.
And yeah, thanks to the second mixer, I can even have my wireless microphone and my in-ear monitors in my living room. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's a pretty much complete.
If you enter in the room, basically we look like idiots because we are completely mute. So if someone entered, we are completely pretending, because we are with headphones. So we are like, and but from the other side, it sounds like a real gig.
And it's just me shouting at the paintings on the walls. Yeah. I'm shouting at the paintings on the walls. Like if somebody entered, it would just like, who the hell is that hysterical woman shouting at the pictures and the cats and the carpets? So it's just me that produces sound. Everybody else doesn't. So it's a little easier than it sounds. It definitely needs thorough know-how that Paul, our bassist, is very proficient in. He really knows how to wire things. It takes a good hour to do all that. And yeah, so it takes a good hour to do all that. And but it's definitely possible to have a high quality live stream, both as audio and as video. You just need to invest a bit and study a lot. And that's, I'm not going to do that. I'm horrible with software.
Indeed you are.
So that's perfect. Why does one person have to do everything when you can split the duties?
Yeah, exactly.
Teamwork makes the dream work, they say.
Yep. Yeah, speaking about sharing duties, yesterday we learned that you also design the merchandise yourself. So I'm jumping a bit now. Maybe we will jump back to the live streaming stuff, but that question just appeared on my screen.
Yes, I'm also the graphic designer for the band. Apart from editing videos, for example, the new videos also we posted, I have edited it, made and everything. So yeah, the graphic design and the latest merch I have designed it as well. Obviously Sophia was next to me and she was approving. Yeah, these are like it's for example, there is a part which she didn't like, which was the eye, but that's my signature. I like those kind of things.
For you out there to know, Sophia is a dictator?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's my informal thing. I can be a control freak. I can be lots of things, and that's because I have a very specific vision,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
all
because
fine.
I started this thing alone, and so yeah, essentially I set the foundations, and I don't want it spoiled or changed.
She's there to piss me off.
I'm happy for it to be enhanced, but yeah, when I see, things that are very off brand, I will say no.
Mm.
Mhm.
So sorry for interrupting you, Sam. You can just
No,
go ahead with the graphic
no,
design
no
and
problem, no problem. Anyway, she's always around to piss me off. So and my cat wants to talk to you. That's it.
Oi,
Hello.
meow.
she
Uh,
missed us.
what do you want to say, lady?
She wants to eat the plant.
she just licked the microphone, literally. That was disgusting, lady.
We need to sterilize the
Yeah, I need to
microphone.
sterilize the microphone. But yeah, I also produced the previous artworks for the album.
For all of the albums.
For all the albums, actually. The first one, I didn't like it. I'm just saying it publicly here.
I liked it.
That was completely uncalled for. Anyhow,
I liked it. I still like it.
good for you.
It's just that they screwed us up while printing the album, and they printed wrong colors. That's why it looks like more gray than it should have been. We didn't design it gray. It was something very nice. But anyway, whatever. Now it's
The second one,
it's gone.
We managed the project. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's fine. We learned our lesson. So now for the third one, we have no idea yet what the cover is going to be.
Many covers.
But I'm speaking about the album cover, not about the single. Um, so I'm just brainstorming with myself as stage one, and then with Sam as stage two, what it's going to be.
I will say it's my band.
I'm voting for pictures again, like photographs with a bit of artwork again.
No.
I think it works better,
No,
to be honest.
but this time it's gonna be my face. What? Why yours?
Why you put your face, put your ass on it instead? It's fine.
Fine. Absolutely, yes.
We found it, guys.
Decision made. It's done.
Yeah, an artistic nude of Sam's behind.
Why not? Pandemic happened this year. Why can my ass be on a cover? Everyone's gonna buy.
Okay, good.
Should we go back to the streaming a little bit?
Yep, absolutely.
Because I did want to know, or I think it's very important to know about the economics of the streaming. There are some platforms with the possibility of monetizing the streaming more easily.
Mhm.
And I don't really know how that works on YouTube with the live streaming. So, do you get any income from your streams?
At this stage, not really, because
Can monetize the videos.
it's possible. Yes, they are.
Can monetize.
We are monetizing the videos, but at this stage, obviously, because we're not viral, you need to have a certain level of virality in order to actually say that yes, I'm making something out of this. And we're speaking about tens of thousands of views to start seeing some form of return. So at this stage, we're just getting mere pennies, but yes, it's definitely possible. And Twitch was a leader in this department. And then others picked up on that. Other platforms like YouTube picked up on that, and they started allowing monetizing. So there are bright examples like Matt Heafy, that is pretty much making a decent amount of money on Twitch, from what I've read, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really great example of monetization. But definitely, you need to have a specific amount of people and up to start saying that's it's worth. So basically, at this stage, we're doing it because we like it, and because we know that people are asking for it and they need it for their mental health.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's more of an enjoyable community activity for us.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like you are building your community through your live streams and keeping it strong, which is the base for for any kind of support that you would get from your fans, right?
Mhm. That's true.
Do you have any other kinds of crowdfunding, like or have you thought about things like Patreon and stuff like that?
That's a very good question. So I've been growing blisters for years after hearing the word Patreon, like um, for the longest time, and people have been pushing me to get into Patreon, like artist managers or artist developers and people like that in the industry. You're not an artist manager. You haven't been pushing me. So anyway, but both of us, yeah. So the point is that both of us have been very negative towards Patreon for the longest time, because we learned otherwise, and it's kind of a hard pill to swallow for me, because it sort of feels like I'm begging people for money, or that the most essential thing is that from the moment that you start getting money from people on a monthly basis, you stop being a creator and you start being a service provider, and people start being clients. So the client then has the right to call you out and say, look, you're not giving me enough bang for my buck, so you're not offering me
Mhm.
enough value, so why am I paying you? And if I hear that or something like that, I'm gonna freak. you know
Mhm.
so this sort of imaginary conversation has been going on in my head for the longest time, and I'm like, "Ugh, not
Have you
sure
heard
about
maybe
that."
of any artist that has experienced something like that?
No, I do not. I have never heard a story about that. But I'm just imagining, because, like, as a consumer, because I'm very interested
Mhm.
in shopping and marketing and the transactional relationship between brands or shops, companies with their customer base. From the moment that something becomes subscriptional and something becomes
Mhm.
monthly, a monthly contribution, um, then the person becomes a client. Therefore, they have rights, and they have demands, and that
Okay.
sucks.
Yeah, I can totally understand that, but I think that Patreon also offers different strategies, so to speak. So I know one guy who does a lot of YouTube videos. So he covers pop songs in a metal way and publishes that on YouTube. And you can be a Patreon of him, and you will pay every time he releases a video. So then you don't have this situation that people pay on a monthly basis and you just give them nothing back.
Mm,
Um, but they only pay when you give them something.
okay, I didn't know that it could be like occasionally to
Mm.
sponsor some. That's a great alternative. But I've been having lots of thoughts about it, and um apart from my completely hardcore position that I just described, that pretty much describes what's been going on in my head all the previous years. Now I started thinking that as long as you're able to stick to a calendar and to stick to a schedule, to provide a certain level of value for people, and you have it very well thought out, it might be sort of a fair exchange, and people might be willing to support you, because in the beginning, when Patreon came out, everybody was sort of skeptical, like me, like, why the hell should I give you money every month? Like, who are you? Do I know you? So right now, many years have passed, or several years have passed, and people have been also conditioned to this type of interaction with content creators and with artists, and musicians, including musicians. So
Mhm.
they have started to accept that this sort of thing is a legitimate way to support someone, like going to their concert and buying their t-shirt, for example, Patreon is a legitimate way, as it has been proven by many, many famous artists out there, including metal artists like Alisa White Glass, for example, or Charlotte Vessels.
Mhm.
And that they are doing very well on Patreon. So people have started to accept, and they don't see it as negatively as they used to see it back then. So yeah, first is that, and secondly, it's that people have, as long as the artist has a very well thought out strategy, like I said, you can create a very fair exchange between you and your community, and that is a win-win.
Yes.
So now I have a
Now that
milder approach to this. So question marks about Patreon still. I'm thinking maybe, maybe not. Thinking about it though.
That's cool. Now that you mentioned community, we can also go back to talking about that part of the streaming aspect, right? It's um, in your weekly live streams, you interact with your community a lot. You chat with your fans, and their fans also interact with each other, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually, people, they gather like 30 minutes before, like 20 minutes before, and they chat with each other. They catch up, which is always heartwarming to see, because there is a live chat feature on YouTube, so you can see what's happening in the live stream before it starts. So that's really great, seeing people getting along with each other, and we're very proud of our time traveler community. That's how we call them, time travelers.
Hmm.
um, and there's plenty of good people there, and they are checking up on each other, like, hey, how are you, and all that, and along with commenting on what we're talking about. And this is where I believe a YouTube live is better than Instagram live, is that they interact with each other during the live stream too. So they speak to
Hmm.
each other and they speak to us at the same time. Whereas on Instagram, people will comment on what you say, but you will never see people talking to each other in the Instagram chat, or at least I have never seen it.
Yes. I don't know if that is um, how it is in YouTube live. I honestly don't watch that many live streams on YouTube, but I am very active on Twitch.
Mm.
Not only as a streamer, but also as a viewer and in chat.
Mhm.
And Twitch has lately also incorporated this reply function, so that you can directly click on a message and reply to that, and that's how people interact and chat with each other. And
Mhm.
so what I was thinking is, has this changed how you interact with your fans on other social media platforms, or how they interact with each other in, let's say, Facebook, on your page, in the groups, or Instagram, Twitter, and the others?
I don't think so. I believe it has enhanced the overall experience for everyone, I think, because it's sort of like for the people who do not miss a live stream, because we have a hardcore few dozen people that do not miss even one live streams. They are there every time. So for these people, it's a meeting point, like they hang out with their friends, you know?
Hmm.
So it honestly has enhanced everybody's experience. And many people send me messages telling me that watching the live streams and hanging out with everyone was the best part of 2020. And I'm like, okay, that's a heavy responsibility to bear. But I said it's an honor to hear too.
Yeah.
And it did made me understand that even with our humble um, audience, we managed to get a point across and create a good sense of community, and gave people something extra. So yeah, I believe it's something extra. It didn't change, but it enhanced.
That is really nice. I think everybody needed that in
Mm,
the last year with all of the pandemic. We
mm,
really, I do think that we really started to seek these kind of communities and connections in the digital world.
mhm.
And what better than to offer that kind of safe space.
Mhm.
And that takes me to my question that is kind of important to me right now, because I've seen in my own consumption and how I am active in social media, even though, as we just discussed, even though it's my work, I have noticed that nowadays I am on Facebook mostly because of work.
Mhm.
And Instagram, my time on Instagram has also decreased a lot, because nowadays I spend more, or I get my interaction with my community on Discord. And that is why, to me, Discord is becoming the new social media star. And I want to, that was my bold statement yesterday. And now
Yeah.
that we are
I
re-recording
still
this,
find it very interesting, and I put it in my to-do list. I really need to research and read more on
yeah,
what you said. It's a sort of
yes,
to me, it sounds like, because I'm an outsider at this point, because I've used Discord
hmm
like a couple of times, like for a very quick chat. It sounds like the new kind of social media that is sort of antisocial social media, because you have
um,
your inner circle, but you're not out there in the open to bullets, so to speak. Like, for example, on Twitter, you say something and anybody can attack you, like, or join the
yes,
conversation.
and that's why I would actually contradict you in that it is the more social media,
Mm,
even, because and yes, before we start going into that direction, just to clarify for people who might don't know Discord as well. Discord started, as well as Twitch, as a platform mainly for gamers. And well, as I have said before, maybe Twitch then developed to be the streaming platform that covers also, or that involves also, musicians and artists, visual artists. There are people painting on Twitch live. There are people cooking, making music. There are DJs making virtual parties, etc. And then Discord has, parallel to that, evolved from a mainly voice chat software to also this kind of community building software. So you can sign up to Discord for free, and then you have the possibility to get your own server. That's what they're called. And in this server, you can invite people in. You can make different um, text channels and different voice channels where people can connect, and then connect with each other as well. And so chat and see each other on like video calls,
mm,
and also post photos and videos and memes and things like that. And we were talking to Charlie Rolfe from As Everything Unfolds in a podcast episode that it will be published in 2 weeks from when
mhm.
2 weeks after this episode goes online on March 9th. And she told us that she has discovered Discord for herself and for the band, because, and this is a sneak peek from our whole interview,
Yay.
because she felt it was a safer space than on, as you were saying, Sophia, than being super public on Twitter or Facebook, and also being vulnerable to critique and attacks from anonymous people who are just, might just come at you, and you can't do anything about it, or you cannot do much about it. We all know how, of course, you can delete comments, you can block and report people, but it's not as easy as getting almost like a personal invitation to join the safe space that Discord is. I am, since last week, I have joined the Discord from As Everything Unfolds, and it's super cool to see that there are not so many people, but the people who are there are very active,
Mm.
and they chat with each other about anecdotes from when they were at different concerts, or when something funny happened to the band on stage and everybody remembers, or the
Mm.
ones who don't remember,
The
they
core of
get
the
told
audience is
again
there.
about what happened. Yeah, and so I think this is kind of a place, or for me, in my experience, it has been a place where I can connect to people on a more personal and intimate level, even,
Mm-hmm.
without it being so public. And honestly, I'm very happy that that my parents are not there. Like my parents were on Facebook at some point. My dad still is, and
Right.
he posts really cringy stuff on my birthday, and it's like, damn, dude. I'm happy to know who is reading the stuff I post on Discord,
Yeah.
and to be able to kick the people that I don't want to see.
My mother
You
is on
know.
Instagram, and my mother-in-law also is on Instagram.
Oh my God.
Both
Same.
follow me.
This makes me think like on YouTube live chat, like you can join with an alias. You don't need to use your real name. And there is the live chats that obviously whoever watches it afterwards can replay the live chat. But normally, nobody who's not interested in the live stream will bother to join. So in that sense, just the people who are directly interested are going to be there. So in that sense, without attempting it to be a safe space or a private community, it actually is. It ends
Mhm.
up being because no outsider would bother joining a random person's live stream and say "Ooh," and bully the members. That would have been weird, even for their standards. So. But yeah, definitely, I understand the benefits of a really, really private community and the safety that provides.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, if we go into the very nitty gritty of it, of course, everybody can just anonymously make an alias and join everything.
Mhm.
It might just be this impression and this feeling that we have. This is like my thing, and I make the rules. And even if if somebody goes against the rules on a different platform, on an artist page, for example, it's you have to go the whole way of reporting to Facebook that someone behaved badly,
Mm.
while on a Discord server I can just do that myself and
Mhm.
erase
Mhm.
the message or kick the person, etc. So it might just be a feeling, an
Yeah, no.
illusion,
I mean, it's
but it works.
there is no perfect solution. So it's honestly whatever resonates with each person.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, whatever works for me might not work for you, and the opposite. So that's why there are so many options.
Yes, that is true.
So I think, meow.
Second
I
cat.
think we talked about all the interesting stuff that we had yesterday, or
Yay!
did we forget anything? Is there anything else you want to add to the topic of live streaming?
Yeah,
That is a
she
great thing.
wanted
Yeah,
to
meow.
add that very often she crashes our live streams because she wants to get her kitty spa, her brushing, and sometimes she provides backing vocals for our concerts. Like very recently, like two weeks ago, we were singing Genesis acoustic, and she jumped right in the middle when I was like super musician mode on and serious face and taking myself very seriously, and she just jumped on the microphone, and she basically made everyone deaf. So
A lot of accidents happen in your live stream.
yeah, yeah, a lot of accidents happen in our live stream. Yeah, sometimes I get my head wide open and bleeding on camera, and lots of other crappy stuff.
Yeah, so
Uh,
people join the stream. It's Bickering with Sam and Sophia on YouTube every Saturday. And yeah, Kiki and I, we have this Heavy Metal Friday, obviously every Friday. So come in, say hi, and join us. I want to ask the last question about
Yay.
music because you are working on new material, right?
At long last. Uh,
Quite aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any idea how the third album would shape. You were crabby, grumpy, so the songs turned out to be aggressive.
I was exactly sure of how the new album would turn out. You were like, "Oh, we have no idea," and I told you from the beginning. It's like it's gonna be like that.
I let things unfold naturally, and I do not like to force situations. What I wanted, and the one condition that I said was that I want aggressive electronics. That's what I'm in the mood for. So that's how we started. That's the first step that we took. That's how we started developing the concept for the album. And eventually, Sam funneled all of his grumpiness into the songs, and we turned out with some pretty aggressive songs. My God, we're gonna sound more metal than ever.
Hell yeah. Will there be death metal vocals as well on the album?
That's one of the most popular questions, actually. I've been asked that like a billion times. And yes, I'm thinking of bringing them back. We haven't had them since The Human Paradox, which is our first album in 2014. And I'm thinking of bringing them back. However, they're not going to be the main type of vocals because I'm not planning on doing them live in order to preserve my voice. And prevent from having any accidents, but because really the situation calls for it, yes, I'm really talking to my vocal instructor about it, how to develop that tool and use it effectively.
Mhm.
Hopefully we're going to have a new single out in the next couple of months, so please look forward to it.
And
Hell
Sam, you
yeah.
know what to do. Make Sophia angry for the death metal vocal.
That's very easy. She's already angry. You will see her after we switch off here.
He just needs to look at me, to make me angry, and I will start barking at the microphone.
Perfect.
It's me, so it's there is
Oh, come on. My eyes are full of love for you. Don't be stupid.
Come on, you piss off
Aw.
now, trying to pretend you're very kind.
See how it happens? He doesn't believe me. And then, oh my God. This is what happens, guys. Just a disclaimer for everyone listening. This is what happens when you are in a relationship, living under the same roof and working together.
Yeah, and if you want
On
to
music
see and hear more of this,
other stuff.
you can join Bickering with Sophia and Sam on YouTube. I guess there is a lot more of this. So
Yeah,
thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so much.
here again. Thank you all for listening.
I hope this time you got it right, guys.
Thank you all for listening. If you want to know more about us or about Season of Ghosts, you can find us on every social media. We are everywhere, I guess. And we will put a lot of stuff into the show notes that are at metal-and-highheels.com/podcast 85, because it's our 85th episode already. We are getting old with this podcast.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are doing some honest to God hard work, and it's paying off. And I'm really a fan, I remember watching you from the first day that you started the podcast, or you were even thinking about it, or meeting you for the first time in 2014 at Metal Female Voices Festival. And it was, I look like a lamp?
Yeah.
What kind of lamp? Was it a table lamp or a bed? A bed lamp, bedside lamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, an abajur. Okay, that's a good chance to go to Metal and High Heels YouTube to go and find my interview there, to decide what kind of lamp I look like.
Perfect. So people, do this once you turn this podcast off. It was a really cool conversation. Also, the episode we did for your album A Leap of Faith was a really cool conversation.
Indeed.
And yes, thank you for being here. Thank you out there for listening.
Thank you
And-
for your hard work, and thank you for your invitation. Always a pleasure to speak to you girls.
Yeah, same on my side. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.